Hi. Now, I don't know this young man, but I do know others like him who have been misunderstood and misrepresented. It reminds me of one particular, let's call him Sam, and this was a few years ago. And I first officially met him during the beginning stages of a restraint. And I asked his teachers if they wanted some help, and they said yes, and so Sam came with me. My question, what's going on? Now, he began de-escalating as he explained. Now, sometimes in these types of situations, we may catch ourselves asking, what did he do? How did he get here? If he just... While the real question we should be asking is how can we change the system to prevent this from happening in the first place? You see, oftentimes, unfortunately, this picture is the connecting through line to our schools. We tend to unsuccessfully hold the tension between being reactive versus proactive. And this puts both educators and students in situations where we're constantly challenged to thrive. Unsuccessfully holding that tension. You see, Sam's senior year in high school was difficult for him mentally and emotionally. His college acceptance was revoked, and he and his family were devastated. He began the summer after his senior year really thinking about the person he wanted to become, how his behavior in high school impacted him from accomplishing his goals, and how his decrease in motivation prevented him from being the best version of himself. He had to question what he valued, and he also had to question if he could take on that challenge. You see, Sam realized that he failed to control his stress and his anger in a mature way. For 3 years, he was on the basketball team, and his senior year, he wasn't able to be. Eventually, everything began to fall apart and unravel. He lost his resource for motivation. His grades dropped, his behavior got worse. And in addition to that, he had no support. He was dealing with this all on his own. He saw no point in going to college. His emotional control went out the window, and his stress just continued to build up. He wanted to drop out. But you see, it was from this experience that he was able to put his mental health and his essential skills development first and make them a priority. Sam didn't give up on his dreams. He began getting academic and socio-emotional support. He enrolled in a community college, and get this, he began working with grades K through 12 as a substitute teacher's aide. His patience was tested, but he grew to understand his students' needs and how to support them. Because you see, he realized they were going through what he went through when he was in high school. You see, what we know to be true is that in safe and supportive learning environments, not only are we able to learn, but we're able to apply what we learn. Acknowledging that our students don't walk into our classrooms as blank slates, we need to position ourselves to teach both academic and socio-emotional content. Because ultimately, they have to learn it to do it. And so therefore, our ultimate goal then is to figure out how we can position ourselves to develop student socio-emotional skill set in our classrooms. In the end, Sam re-enrolled in his original college of choice. You see, he has plans. He wants to graduate, have a successful career, expand his family business, own a home with his future wife, and enjoy football Sundays in his man cave with his future pet bulldog. You see, the words you've heard of this young man's story are actually his, not mine. And the change you heard reflected literally happened in a matter of months. You see, our job as agents of change is to question and redefine what we value in order to impact systems toward justice. If we position ourselves to do that very thing and we follow suit in the same way that Sam prioritized himself, we'd prioritize students holistically, teaching to the whole student, supporting and developing all of them, and not just parts of them. So, teachers, I urge you, integrate socio-emotional content into your curriculum and classroom culture. For example, you can begin your class by asking and creating space for students to share if they've had a difficult night or a tough morning. And then allow them to talk with you to figure out what you can do to support them in having a successful day, a successful period, or even a successful next few minutes. Counselors, I urge you, leverage your skill set and work with teachers to help them integrate and develop this content in ways that are doable, sustainable, realistic, and proactive. Administrators, apply a multi-dimensional approach, living in the intersection of academic and holistic education, using a rigorous and robust lens. Policymakers and funders, dare to step outside the box, redefining and restructuring systems, funding socio-emotional learning in schools. You see, in short, I urge us all to begin by asking, what is going on? And what can I do about it? Because you see, ultimately, in order for students to live successful lives of choice, they need to be well. And none of us can do that alone. Thank you.